We on a mission. Let's take a minute and put all the things that we've been stressing on intermission and only talk about winning. We all want to have a good time. It's in the spirit. I know you want to feel it. We got Yep, Vibe Show 97.9. Listen, it's the moment I've been waiting for. Well, look, I know y'all been waiting for it too, but I've been waiting for it more. I'm super, super excited about this. Y'all already know what time it is. It's the Vibe Show 97.9, and I have a huge special guest joining us tonight. So y'all better keep it locked in. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. Oh. Yep, Vibe Show 97.9. I'm your host, Kano the Don, the Vibe King. And y'all got to excuse me. I'm going to be smiling all night. I'm having a huge fan moment. You got to forgive me. Happy Friday to everybody. We are at the weekend, whatever that is nowadays. But we're at the weekend. And tonight, I'm super excited. We have an amazing guest joining us on the show tonight. I'm talking about acting coach, actor, original fly girl. Let's be clear. Original fly girl from the legendary hit TV comedy show In Living Color. Y'all make sure y'all give it up all the love that you possess for this queen right here, the very lovely, the one and only Jossie Harris. Thacker. Man.
What's up, babe?
My God, this is an OMG moment right here. How are you doing?
I am so good, sweetheart. It's Friday.
Yes.
I'm alive. Everybody I love is good. You know?
Yes.
What do you have to complain about? Life is
nothing at all. And who cares anyway if we complain?
Right.
You know what I mean? I gotta thank you though. From the bottom of my heart, this right here is so special to me. It means so much. I'm a huge fan, and I got to thank you for me and the Vibe team, Vibe Promotions. We want to say thank you so much for blessing us with this amazing opportunity.
Oh, you're so sweet, honey. It is all good. We have to support each other.
Yes, we do. You know, and we're fighting this battle to get everybody to understand that. You know,
yeah.
Support is it's just we have
one guest at a time. Just
right
at a time.
Right. We got so much to talk about. I've been just trying to figure out how I want to do this, and I want to jump into the time machine, and I want to go back. Born in Harlem, New York. That's rich soil right there. We got so many different iconic, legendary people. The Mecca.
Yeah.
Talk to me about growing up in New York, in Harlem for you. What was that like?
You know what? It was, I mean, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything about growing up in Harlem. It was beautiful and rich, and is, I am who I am because of Harlem, growing up in Harlem, growing up and being able to go to the Apollo, dreaming of going to the Apollo, dreaming of performing at the Apollo, and that day coming into fruition for me, that day coming, and becoming a reality. But yeah, growing up in a lot of ups and downs. I had a lot of ups and downs growing up. But when we talk about Harlem, it's where my heart is at. I'm a Harlem girl, tried and true. Grew up in uptown Spanish Harlem, up in the house.
Right.
And yeah, I am who I am because of, where I come from. So I own it, I go visit. I have a sister who still lives in Harlem. And so I go visit my family. It's very close. I stay very close to Harlem. Every time I come, I'm not in New York right now. So every time I come home, that's where I'm at. That's where you're going to find me, in Harlem. Um, visiting friends uptown, visiting, going to eat uptown, making sure that I'm supporting, all of the Black businesses up there. So I'm a Harlem girl, tried and true.
Right. Being surrounded by so much influence from, from hip hop, dance, it's the culture.
Yeah.
Um I want to know, has it always been dancing for you? Or what was the inspiration?
Yeah.
Because, you have taken it to a whole nother level. Dancing is something that I feel like is in us all, within our culture. But, like you those dreams and having those visions like the Apollo, seeing all of these influences growing up, imagining, man, wow, I wish I could just, and
Yeah.
then these visions and dreams coming to fruition. Has it always been dance for you?
Um, well, I would say yes. It has always been dance for me. It will always be dance for me. When God calls me to be with Him, just know I will be dancing in heaven, and I want everybody to be dancing with me on earth. That's where it all started for me. Dancing was my way of escape. Dancing saves. I still believe that today. It's still that way for me. I don't dance professionally, but I definitely dance for myself as a way
Right.
of staying healthy, as a way of, obviously staying in shape. But that's where it all started for me. I had no idea that I would go on. Thank you, Rebuke the Devil. Thank you.
Mhm.
um, I had no idea that I would end up doing all the other things that I've accomplished. Like, I had
Right.
no idea. Um, it was dance, but even with dance, I never really thought that I'd be a dancer. I didn't foresee that. There was just no way. It literally, I was, a lot of people don't know this, but I started off when I was in high school, I was in a co op program where I worked 1 week and I went to school 1 week, right?
Right.
And when I graduated, the company kept me on.
Oh,
Um,
really?
so yeah, and so I actually worked for Shearson Lehman Brothers. It was a huge financial company. I worked downtown, at the World Trade Center, in fact. And I did that for many years, shortly after I graduated high school.
Wow.
And so I was going to Pace University, going for business management. And I was following that road. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. And it was really when my grandmother on my father's side passed away, that it was kind of the first time I had lost somebody that I really loved and was close to.
Right.
That was like my own blood. I had lost plenty before then, but it was just sort of that life defining moment,
Right.
where I looked at myself. I was young. I was already really making a lot of money. I was really successful at a very young age. I was living on my own. I had my own place on in the 90s on the East Side. I was very successful at a very, very young age, literally just coming out of high school, because again, that company kept me on. And so I
Mhm.
was working, and I was, I was very fearless. Like, at that time, I was, working on computers. It was when Microsoft first came out with Excel and spreadsheets, and I was fearless about like learning how to do it. I was pressing buttons and I was working it out. And so I ended up being able to like teach, and do some basic like office. So it really got me, a job, like a real job straight out of
Right.
high school. And it wasn't, I would go out dancing on the weekends as my way of escape. And there was a time when I was at a club. Please don't ask me to remember what club, because I don't remember. I know that's going to be the next question. There was I was at a club, and somebody approached me to dance in a music video. And that's how my dance career took off. I had never trained to be a dancer, never thought in a million years I'd be a dancer and touring the world. And, it's like, honestly, my steps have been ordered till this day. I really believe that. I tell everybody there's only one pair of footprints in the sand, and that's God, you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Right.
He
Absolutely.
guides me,
That, when you say it's just your story is just it's really inspiring. And I want to know, like, when you say escape, because we have so many different things that we use to escape certain things, music,
Absolutely.
dance.
Oh,
um
absolutely. I have a total relationship with music.
right,
It's like music is my man. It's like my main man.
right,
Okay. Like, I've had a relationship with music. Music has really kept me. So yeah, I had, I had it just, it was tough for me growing up,
right.
and one of these days I'll be able to tell that story. I'm actually working with my assistant. I just want to shout her out because she's amazing, Sydney Sullivan.
She really is. She is persistent. I love her.
Yeah, she's a blessing. She's my angel. And God blessed me with her. She's a filmmaker herself, graduated out of University of Chicago. But anyway, we're actually about to start to capture some of my doing a documentary autobiography.
Oh, it's gonna be
I'm
so.
actually going to be going up and down, these Harlem streets and sort of capturing my story in more of a documentary style of what it was sort of growing up for me. So yeah,
That's gonna be a treat for us all, seriously,
yeah,
because you
yeah,
have stories for days.
it is.
You have lived an amazing. Your journey
Days,
has
look,
been amazing.
days, scars to help me tell it. All of
Right,
it, but yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. And it's been a journey. Like I said, I never imagined. I didn't write this story in terms of my dance career. It just
right,
happened. It really just happened, and God kept sort of setting me apart, and I
right.
got to the point where people were really requesting me.
Yes.
I started rocking my hair with the braids, and it became my signature look and style.
Trendsetter. You were trend setting at a very, very, very early time, and it always stood out. And I wanted to ask you about that too.
Mhm.
Has that always been a part of you, or once you actually started getting into the business, you was like, you know what? Because in this business that we're in, everybody kind of have these identities and different characters and different
Yeah,
things or whatever that's
that's a
creating. But I
really
feel
good
like yours
question,
came from
Chris.
an organic place, though.
Yeah,
Was that always you?
that's a really great question. Yeah, it was always me. It was always me, and I'm always me.
Right.
I just want you to know that. Really, I really am. I mean, that's why I had to, when I came into social media. Social media was very, very hard for me to get into. I actually came into, hey Tremont, that's one of my actors.
Shout out to
um,
Tremont.
yeah, Tremont. Um, uh, Tell the tribe to come on in and come in and support this young man, Tremont. But yes, I've always had my sense of style, my own sense of style. I want to really give that up to Harlem. I'm just going to say that. I mean,
Right.
I grew up in Harlem. It's a colorful place, and it's a place where you can be easily inspired,
Right.
in spite of the, maybe limitations that we had growing up in an underserved community such as Harlem, especially back then. But we're good with that, right? Like, this is how we thrive. We know how to make $1 out of 50 cents.
Absolutely.
Okay, right? And so, yeah, I was fly before I became a fly girl, to answer your question.
Right. So around that time, because like I said, you've been on your amazing journey for a while, and have accomplished so many different amazing things. But
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
around that time period, though, entering into the business at that age, um, seeing a lot, was it overwhelming for you at times? Just being around so much, and like, because like you said, this opportunity, you got this opportunity, not even looking for this opportunity, and
No.
somebody seen the value in you, and
Yeah.
and you know gave you this opportunity, and you, with the fearlessness, took it and turned it into what it is right now. A household name, a
Yeah.
brand that's never
Thank you.
going anywhere,
Thank you.
respected
Yeah.
in the business. But early on, talk to me about, you know, traveling, traveling on that journey. Like, wow, because, being on the outside, seeing it, it's going to look one way. Going to look like, wow,
Absolutely.
this is amazing. I want to do this. I want to be an actor. I want to be an artist. I want to be
Yes.
this. I want to be that. But the work,
Yeah.
realizing the work on the journey when you get in. Can we talk about those experiences for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Those, that's everything right there. And that's the kind of stuff I actually love talking about, because it's all about, passing on, what you're learning, and
Facts.
that's the best thing that we can do for each other, is
Yeah.
to share that journey, in order to help somebody else, come up. So, for me, it was a struggle, because and this is really for everybody, but everybody won't talk this sort of raw about it. But
Mhm.
I was finding myself the whole time, just trying to find myself.
Right.
Like, you know, you go through different stages in your life, and you're just trying to figure out who you are, and where you want to be and what you want to do with your life. And um, I really wish that I could, thank those two gentlemen who came up to me in the club. I wish I could remember who they were. I mean, my career took off, but they approached me, to be in a music video, and then, honestly, my career took off. But
Right.
prior to then, I was just trying to figure out, I had just graduated high school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I went to business school because that's the trajectory that you're kind of
Exactly.
put on.
Exactly.
Just it's kind of like the default, right?
Right.
And so I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know. I was very, I was also very young. Remember, I had just come out of high school. So there's some people who are fortunate, like when I work with some of these young kids, and they're starting so young, and I'm like, man, I wish I did know that, that I wish I was
Right.
so clear at
Right.
this young age, but I imagine there are a lot of people like me, right? Who just didn't know, by the time I graduated school, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I had
Right.
no idea. But what I did know was that once I started going to college, Pace University, I started to, right around when my grandmother passed away, I started to really understand, like, that affected me so much that I was
Mhm.
like, I really want to be happy.
Right.
I want to do something that, and I started to really think about, well, what do I want to do? Like, what am I into? What do I like? And I recall that what I wanted to do was get into film. I mean, that's the first
Mm.
thing that came to mind, should I
Right.
say, which is well, what are you into, Josie? You know, I started asking myself these kind of questions. What are you into, Josie? And I, you know, I never pursued it. But what I realized was, well, I like movies. I like watching movies. Maybe I can get in the film business. Maybe I
Right.
can, you know, do that and pursue that. But I had nobody like in my family. Nobody in my family was in the entertainment business. So
Wow, and I was gonna ask you that too.
no one, none of my sisters, nobody in my family. So I didn't have anybody to, you know what I mean, to go to or to ask or to, I didn't know anybody in the business, you know, so I was really out there. So I remember I started going out dancing more. I was, you know, like I was unhappy. I felt like you know, I would go dancing just to, you know, express myself, to just get, you know, just stuff off of me, you know. And and then I started to you know, start to pay more attention, you know, when I started going, you know, when the guys came to me and asked me if I wanted to dance in a music
Mhm.
video, I started to you know, they opened that world up to me. So then I
Right.
started to really pay more attention to that, and I became more aware of like, whoa, it's a whole world out here.
They're
It's a
watching me.
whole world out here
Right.
for me to conquer, you know, for
Right.
me to go after. And I was already a business head. You know, I was already a business head from being around, you know, all these business minded people.
Right.
I mean, the first thing I said to the guys when they came up to me was like, how much are you going to pay me? Is there a
Right.
contract? What does the
Right.
contract look like? And I really was one of the first people, um, dancers for sure. Remember, we didn't have agents back then. We didn't have representation back then.
Right.
Um, but I was one of the first dancers who was really negotiating. Like I negotiated with them. I didn't just come on and take the job. You know,
Right.
I was negotiating big money.
Was that a problem though? Because it seems like the more knowledge you have coming into certain situations, it seems like in certain instances that seem to be problematic, because they like to grab the ones that's less knowledgeable, or you know, don't understand contracts, or you know,
Yeah,
things
no,
like
not really.
that.
Yeah, no, not for me. No, not for me. Remember, we were the first to do it.
That's right.
You know, we were the first to do it. There wasn't I can't even talk, I'm sorry. There was no such thing as tearing up the King's English, I'm sorry. There was no such thing as dancers and music videos. This was really at the beginning of, I mean, there were, but I mean, there weren't dancers at the time. It was
Right.
really a new idea. It was a new concept, right? And
Right.
so, look, they were new to it too. You know, as
Mhm.
I was negotiating and new to it, really, they were new to it too.
Right.
You know, and I was in demand already because I was out there, you
Mhm.
know, and so they wanted me.
Right.
I honestly never had any problems negotiating my contract and getting the money that I wanted.
Right.
And most of the time I was getting the money that I wanted.
I think that that's dope too, because like, you know, when hearing you talk about that particular time period, um it really brings me back to a space where we were figuring it out. It was more
Yeah,
organic energy then. It wasn't, you know,
absolutely.
it was really it was really about the art, I feel. You know
It
what I
was
mean? And
I
really
agree.
trying to, yes, get it out there.
It really was. It really was about the art. And I can tell you, I can almost remember, at least for me, when the business started shifting and
Mhm.
and it started becoming about something else,
Right.
and hip hop started changing
Right.
into, you know, into what it is, because you know we should evolve. Like, you know, there's, you know, I'm not one to, you know, down the next generation and all the other generations that have come, because you know everything should evolve.
Right.
Hip hop has to evolve. We all have to evolve. We should evolve, right? And so
Right.
it evolved, and it's taken all types of dips and turns, and sure, there are, eras in which hip hop, is going to go down as, this is when, hip hop was at its, sort of lowest, or this is when hip hop was at its finest, or
Right,
this is
right.
when hip hop was at its best, whatever. I mean, it's all part of the journey, and I welcome it. I'm not one to be like, oh, well, that ain't hip, that's,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's just a different type of hip hop. It's a different era. It's a different season,
right.
for hip hop. But yes, at that time, it was the most organic,
Hmm.
right? It was raw.
Yeah.
It was raw. It was sort of at it was a fine grain, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because it was birthing. It was just coming into the world, and little did we know, that it would be here to stay.
Wow. Going on to do amazing things, you know, landing so many leading roles in some of the most iconic videos you can possibly think of. I mean, from Michael Jackson's Remember the Time, Janet's, That's the Way Love Go, Mary J's Real Love. I mean, like, from a mental aspect, like, do you ever, like, because I know we're constantly moving and we're constantly evolving and constantly creating and trying to
Always,
create the next thing.
especially me.
At any point though, have you ever had that moment where you really had that time to like reflect on some of these huge accomplishments in your life and just have a
No,
wow moment? No.
no, no.
Wow.
No, because we don't stop and we don't quit,
Right.
right?
I
Like,
get it.
as a creative, like I feel like as a true creative, who's not in it for all the hoopla,
Hmm.
and all of that. Um, I think you don't get to stop and have that moment,
Is that fair?
Huh?
Is that fair?
Is that fair? I don't know
Yeah.
if it's fair or not. I'm just saying,
Well,
like,
for ourselves, is it fair for ourselves to not, take that moment to say, you know what, Josie, you know what, Kano,
oh,
like,
I've definitely had those moments for sure. I mean, for sure. I mean, I'm
right,
very proud of myself. I am. And as I get older, um, as I grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and all of the lees, as I grow, I'm, I make sure to stop and take a look, and I never look back though.
right,
That's like that's a thing for me. I don't know why. Like, I totally am proud of myself. So I'm good to myself in that way. I'm very proud of myself. Um, but I just kind of keep it moving, because I'm just starting.
right. We always feel that way,
Okay.
and I think it's our responsibility because I get your standpoint, but I feel like it's my civil responsibility and duty to make sure that I, for one, along with a lot of people in this world, we love you. We are so proud of you
Thank
for,
you, sweetheart.
sacrificing and giving yourself to
Yeah.
us to entertain us on so many different platforms. So, that was why, I wanted to have you on here because I know we don't get that time. But these are the times and moments that, you're not working right now. You're being highlighted. And
Right.
I just want to tell you that because I appreciate everything that you have blessed us with. Like, it has been a blessing, and you're constantly and still blessing people with all of the experience that you have with teaching, coaching,
Yeah.
creating opportunities, opening up doors. That's
Yeah.
major and so necessary in this business.
Thank you, sweetheart. You're so
Good.
kind. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate it. Uh, I for me, I'm from Harlem. So I just think you can't be from an underserved, underprivileged place and not give back
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
not like try to pull people up, but not try, but pull people up. Like you can't do that. There's something really spiritually wrong about that to me. So if I believe that my steps are ordered and that God put me here and that, I came to do great things as we all have been designed to do, and that's why we're all here, then I feel like we have to. This is what we are supposed to do.
Facts.
We're supposed to, come in. Those of us who are blessed to be able to have any type of notoriety, any type of, where people kind of look up to you or see you in a certain way. Um, I just feel for me, okay, and this is, I need to have like a show where I say Josie's 2 cents or something,
That's right.
my 2 cents,
That's
okay?
right.
For me, I just feel like you gotta give back. You gotta go back and you gotta take what you've learned and what you've been blessed, your experiences, your journey. You have to somehow find a way to parlay that and make it so that others can be blessed by your journey.
Right. Absolutely.
You
Very
know.
well said. I love that. Vibe Show 97.9. We're just in here vibing out. Me and the Queen, Jossie Harris. Listen, we got to go pay a few bills. Josie, when we come back, I want to show you some pictures. And when I show them to you, I want you to tell me what comes to mind when you see them.
Okay.
It's the
Let's
Vibe Show 97.9. Y'all keep it locked. Don't go nowhere. Vibe Show 97.9 back. Me and the very lovely Jossie Harris. Listen, I'm just I'm having a moment. I need those little breaks because I'm just like behind the scenes. Oh my God, Josie. You know, I want to show you. Before I show you these pictures, though, I definitely want to. I saw something that really stood out to me. I really, really loved it, and I want to run this clip, and then we'll get into the pictures and stuff like that. But I
Uh-oh.
definitely want to pay homage. So yeah.
What you about to show?
Y'all stay with us. I'm just saying though, like those moments. Thank God for videography, people. Thank God
The
that we have
revolution was
that.
televised.
You know what I mean? We have that
Yes.
technology. looking back on those highlights and those moments, like so many epic moments, so many different amazing people within going on to do more amazing things as well. Talk to me about just the mindset, being able to remain focused and still be inspired, even with the new wave that we're in right now.
Mhm. Um, just in terms of inspiration. Uh-oh, we've got a, can you hear that? It's a
No, I
little,
don't.
oh, it was a little feedback. I'm sorry. Um, just in terms of how I stay inspired, is that the question?
Yes.
Oh, that's
With being with funneling through so much inspiration and being the inspiration for so many other people as well. Still being able to draw inspiration though from the new wave, coming from going through these different
yeah.
eras in time.
I mean, for me personally, I draw inspiration from everything. I really do. Um, like even stuff that's like not good.
Right.
It inspires me to be better,
Right.
right? It inspires me to create and see, what I could add, you know.
Right.
That's how I see life. I'm weird like that. I'm just inspired by, I'm inspired by everything,
Right.
right? Like I really am. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm inspired by everything.
I
Like
definitely get it.
I'm the kind of person like I'm an artist in that I'll share this silly little story, but like I remember one day I went with my husband to get a light. We were looking for a light, like a lamp for the
Right.
house,
Right.
right? And I saw the lamp upside down. I saw the shade of the lamp upside down. And the whole time I'm buying it knowing that that's the way it's gonna look good in the house,
Right.
right? Like I can see something and then I see something else in it, right? And so we got home and there was all kind of problems.
Right.
He's
Right.
like, what? I saw that it was funkier once I turned it over.
Right.
And I turned it upside down and it gave it a different shape and it gave it and I've always been like that, just kind of different, weird in the way I see things. Um but I'm constantly inspired. I mean, real talk, I'm constantly inspired. My mind never stops. My mind is always going. I've thought of a million different shows, a million different um, things, and one thing about me is that I just go for it. I've
Right.
always gone for it. I've done almost everything that I've done scared and terrified and horrified, even.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
But but I've done it. And
Right.
that's something I really own. And I really pass along to all of my students and anybody that wants to listen to me,
Right.
that you have to do it scared. You have to do it scared. Like, well, you don't have to do it scared. If you're not scared to do it, then
It will never get done.
no, power to you. Like
Right.
power to the people if that's you. Um, but most of us are scared, and that's what keeps us from actualizing and doing the things that we see ourselves doing, is that
That
fear,
fear. Yeah.
right? And so I think that for me, I've done it scared,
Mm.
right? And that's how I can say I've done some things. But I mean, I'm not even trying to give myself all of the, like I promise you that God has really blessed my life. I feel like I've had 9 lives. I've been very 100% honestly in all of these lanes, and have had the right to be in those lanes.
Mhm.
In terms
Mhm.
of, I've done the work, I've done my
Right.
homework,
Right.
right? I've done my
Right.
homework. I earned the right. I worked my way there to get
Mhm.
there. You know,
Right.
um, but But yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You always do. Fear, though, I don't want to run past that word because I like to inspire, my listeners, and encourage them in any type of way that I can, especially with having such iconic people on the show, because hearing it from someone who's went through the experience and can actually speak, it means a lot, and it's very, very important to me. I built the show on based on that. It's not just about having on fly entertainers and all of that, but really having a real conversation, because we have a lot of the younger generation trying to find their way through this, and I feel like it's our responsibility, like you said, to guide them, and not just if we can give a gem. Now, whether they choose to pick it up or not, that's on them, but I feel like it is our responsibility to share those gems, and if I can keep you from stepping on a landmine,
Yeah,
I mean, then
sure.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
So fear, though, do you think that the fear, um do you think that we inherit that from maybe being around people who may not? Because I feel like once your dream dies, because we have dreams as a kid, oh, I want to be a fireman, I want to be this, I want to be that, or whatever, and then as we get older, we end up kind of, life kicks in, we got to get a job, this, that, and the other, and all of that, and then your vision may rebirth, and then you share that, and then somebody who dream may have died long time ago, they're like, man, it's crazy, man, I wouldn't. Do you think that that plays a factor in it too? Because maybe our parents or something like that can't see beyond the trees.
Oh no, absolutely, baby. All of that affects us and shapes us,
Right.
and that's why it's so important to, to have a good, solid upbringing, where you're really, where you have love and nurture, and people come and, support your dreams. But as you know, we don't all grow up in that
Right.
environment, right?
Right.
And you could have the best parents in the world, the best family in the world, but that outside influence is heavy
It's
on you.
strong.
So,
Yes.
oh, absolutely, and so you can get, one person to come into your life and speak that darkness and speak negativity, or put doubt into your spirit, and just depending on how strong, you're being raised up to be, that can come and snatch your whole life away, all of your dreams.
Right.
And I believe there are grown adults whose dreams have been snatched and they've never been able to go get it.
Right.
Um, right? So, it's just so important, to to make sure that you surround yourself with the right people, people who love you, who hear you, who understand you, especially when you're older,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
Like, so that, because you can get those dreams back. I'm
Hmm.
here to say, for those who feel like their dreams have been
I
snatched.
really believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too, that it's never too late to pursue your dreams, or to pursue a dream,
Hmm.
right? And But yeah, we that's what happens, is that, as we're growing, and unfortunately for some people, it starts at a very young age, right? That they're not supported, that they don't have parents, or even a parent that, comes behind them and supports their dreams, whatever that is.
Right.
And maybe it's innocent. Maybe it's because, like, the parent doesn't know anything about, like, what that dream is. Like, for me, for
Right.
example, my mom raised us, single mom raising five, children. She worked two jobs. She did what she could to just get us fed,
Right. Right.
right? Get
Right.
us, to school, and, with clothes on our backs and
That's
stuff.
right.
I mean, she didn't have time to, get into, like, what we're into in our dreams,
Right.
right? So I was, this is where it takes a village. right? So I had a lot of outside influence, right? That like really shaped and paved. So this is really how I ended up going to clubs, dancing, right? Like just friends, my outside influence, right? The friends that I was making, and they were like, oh, well, let's go to the club. We were young, sneaking into these clubs that, had no license and no business being open, really dark clubs. And before we, I branched out when and I was old enough to now go to like Mars and all of the other clubs in New York. But my friends and the company that I kept at the time influenced me in a way that I ended up going to clubs, right? And
shout out to your friends too, because
right,
you know what I'm saying. Like those points in
real.
time, man,
Like
mean a
for real.
lot.
Like for real. And so I ended up, and this is where my life ended up going and in the direction that it went to. But I'm just talking about the influence and the people that come into your life, the people who come in and out of your life, the people who you allow to speak into your life. Has really a lot to do with how you shape up, how you in the direction you start going to in your life, and you hope that path is leading you somewhere good,
Right.
or somewhere closer toward your dreams and your visions and that kind of stuff. And again, for me, I had no idea that I would end up being a dancer. No idea I would end up being an actor. No idea I would end up being an acting coach. No idea I would end up being a producer. No idea I'd end up being a director. No idea I'd end up being an author. Like it goes on and on and on and on, and for me, I just want you to know, and I really love to speak raw and honest. For me, I always did it scared, meaning I was scared. I wasn't this confident person, going out there and and going for hers. I really wasn't. That's not my story. It's just that I I did it scared. I was scared, but I'd still do it. And I felt like, God always met me on the other end of it. And so I was able to get through it, and I was able to glide, and I was able to grow and glow while doing it.
That's a blessing, man. I'm telling you, not disconnecting from the source.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Just always, for
Yeah.
me, I just honestly feel that for me, that's my story. God has been the music, God has been the movement. He has been, he has been my um just my friend, my everything, leading me, my guide, my light,
Protector.
my source, my map quest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, all of those things. And it's the work, the work that I do with my actors, or with my artists. I work with a lot of artists as well, doing, performances, getting them ready for performances, and, all of the artists and all of the amazing people that God blesses me with, that come into my, that come to me. It's all about it's reminding them, like, I remind them all day, like, I don't have the answers to it all. I can just tell you my life experiences. And that for me is that I've done it scared. But I've also always have been spiritually grounded.
Very important.
Very important. Like, gotta be spiritually grounded. Now, I'm not saying that I've always been spiritually mature, because I'm not saying that at all. But I've always had God with me. I've always been, connected to a higher source, and I've always believed in that higher source.
Right.
And I've always sort of leaned on that, and I still lean on it. Period. And it's not doing too bad.
I know that's right. Definitely not. Definitely not. I wanna I'm gonna show you some pictures, and you tell me what comes to mind when you see these photos.
What comes to mind?
Yes.
Just, fly sisters, just beautiful women, It reminds me of a time in my life that there was some ups and downs at that time. I moved to LA and I didn't really like LA. I went home back to New York every chance I could.
Right.
But it was a good time. It was a good time.
Right. Right.
Uh, I remember this day. Um, I really remember this day. It was like we were just all in a mood, and it showed in that picture.
Right. You know,
Came through.
the when I say the iconic Fly Girls, what is Fly Girls? What is the name?
Uh-oh.
What does it mean to you? What does the iconic Fly Girls name mean to you?
Well, Fly Girl is always like everything, the kind of girl every guy wants and the kind of girl every girl dreams of being.
Right.
Now, I totally messed that up because there's actually a way that we used to say it, but that's it.
Yeah.
Generally. But a Fly Girl to me, the truth for me, and it's gonna be corny, but I'm corny. I just want you to know that I believe we're all fly. I believe we're born fly, and just like what we were talking about before, people and circumstances come, into our lives that take that away from us and
Right.
makes us feel like we're not fly. But there is a fly girl in all of us. There's a fly boy in all of y'all. And so, a fly girl for me today, and I really hope that I have a show that is a big part of something that I really want to be able to check off before I transition out of this world, which is to create this show about, fly girls and showing what a fly girl is.
Oh, that'll be dope.
Oh, it would be so dope. Gotta get somebody with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Buy into the idea, but it is dope. It is.
You got it written already, like you got the whole.
It's already written. It's already
Well,
done.
we don't have to talk. I don't know the biggest people in the world, but I know a few people.
Okay, well, let's absolutely.
That is not feel like that's necessary.
Yeah, no, it is, especially in this day and age. I really, really believe so.
Right.
And I just think that a fly girl and a fly guy or a fly boy is, somebody who goes for theirs, who, has ideas and is fearless about it, and maybe not fearless totally. Fear, they can do it with the fear, right? It's like what I just said. You do it scared, but they do it. They're smart, they're sassy, they're fearless, even though they can be fearful at times.
Right.
They put in the time, the work. They do the homework. They don't believe that anything is for free. They don't look for favors. They don't look for any of that. They do it because they believe in themselves. Right. And they go for it. I really believe that's what makes you fly, not necessarily what you're wearing in terms of fashion, even though that's a part of it too, because right. You got to be fly too.
Gotta be fly.
Gotta be fly with the threads now, okay? Right. But it's more. It more comes from the inside, knowing who you are, and not letting any obstacles sort of slow you down or stop you. And not worrying about what others are doing and having that throw you off. No, you are fly. You're born fly. You're born into the flyness. Okay, and now go off and be fly.
Fly.
Okay, be fly.
Jossie, I gotta ask you, like.
Oh Lord, what? Will you ask me? You keep scaring me. You've been scaring me this whole hour. Okay.
There's so much. How, like, I've been waiting on this since we've connected. Like, how did you guys get anything done? Just being a part of such an iconic show in living color. How, like, can you just share what that experience was like, just being around so much talent on in one.
I'm trying to tell you.
How did you guys get
I'm trying to
anything
tell you
done?
though. Like, how can you not like? How can you not be fly?
Exactly.
How can you not be fly being around all that flyness? It's just honestly, I was that kid, because I was a kid. That was like eons ago. I was that kid though that would literally sit there and watch them do their thing.
Wow.
I was like, the girls would go off and our day would end and the girls would like go off and, you know, go live their lives. And I would stay there and watch them work. I'd be in the office. Keenan's words to this day still ring in my mind as somebody that I hear, you know, who really influenced me coming up. And
Right.
I remember one day he came to me, I was in the office, you know, just in the office, just soaking it all in.
Right.
Remember, I'm a little girl from Harlem too, right?
Right.
So I'm knowing like what a blessing and how awesome this is. I mean, they were freaking geniuses.
I'm serious.
I mean, they were geniuses. And I mean, we all knew it.
Right.
So imagine me just sitting there. Remember, the Fly Girls were on for 2 seasons. Now, I was dancing and touring the world and doing all that. But for those 2 seasons, I came in the 3rd season. Or was it the 2nd season? No, I came in the 3rd season.
Okay, it was the 3rd?
Yeah, I came in the 3rd season because the 1st season were whatever, the Fly Girls. And then that was when Jennifer.
And Rosie Perez, huh?
Yes, yeah. Well, Rosie Perez was always there, but then Jen joined the show, and I came in after her.
Oh, okay.
And so I was touring the world. I was doing my thing. I was at the top of my career, and as a dancer. And so by the time I came on, you know, I knew what I was stepping into.
Right,
you know?
right.
I was like, this show is freaking crazy. It's genius. I mean, and it was just, he was so brilliant and funny, and, you know.
The whole family. Then you got all these other people who went on to do amazing things. You had Jamie, you had Jim.
Seriously, like,
oh my God. Tommy,
so,
how did you?
Listen, but I want to tell you, I was up in there soaking it in.
I'm so jealous.
You know, and I know for a fact that just even the way I'm built and my mindset, everything is really has so much to do with that show.
Right.
Because there's just no way you can be around all of that.
There's no way.
There's just no way. And not
and you gotta go on to do something.
Yeah. And look, and maybe I'm, you know, they got me all psyched out or something. I don't know. But I swear I give so much to Keenan, and he'll always be somebody that I adore and that I respect, because it was genius. I would literally be in the audience, like where the audience would come in to, like, because it was taped, it was a live show. I would literally sit in there and just watch them like go from scratch. These comedians, how they would be working it out, how half of it wasn't even scripted. They would be making it up on the freaking fly.
What?
No, they were brilliant, brilliant. So I was around that. That's all I can say.
Wow.
And it was the master class. It was a master class. It was a master class. And I want to tell you this. I want to make sure that I say it because my production company, it's called Be Fly Create.
I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, and I really want to tell everybody we're in a different, you know, things are different now. And as an artist, you really can take control of your career. Be Fly Create is, you know, we were talking about how I'm sort of all over the place. I'm so sorry. But I started off, I started telling you in the beginning, I don't think I finished this, that it took me a long time to get into social media because I'm an artist. And so I'm very sensitive. I don't
Right.
need you attacking me. I don't like negative people. I don't like the pettiness and negativity. I stay away from all of that nonsense.
Right.
And so God gave me just Josie. I'm always going to be just Josie. I just want you to know that. Anywhere you go, anytime you see me, I'm the same person, right?
Right.
Just Josie, that's all you can be, and that's all you should be. And people need to stop selling themselves out over this social media. You gotta love yourself. You gotta be your own best friend. You gotta figure out who you are, what you want, what you're trying to go after, and go for it. And you pray about it. You know, whoever you pray to, you pray about it. You go to your source, and you believe in yourself. Like you be your own best friend. You never doubt yourself. My production company, B Fly Create, B talks about my way of life, which is you have to be in the moment. You have to
Mhm.
just be. You have to be. There is no more important moment than this moment between you and I right now. There is
Right.
no. We don't know what's coming. We definitely don't want to be looking behind us, right?
Right.
We want to be right here in the moment. But B also speaks to, when I work with actors and how they also have to be present as the character because they're not supposed to know what's happening in the future either or what's coming,
Right.
right? Be a way of life, just being present and being appreciative, being grateful for where you're at. And then fly, I didn't have to reinvent the wheel, right? Fly
Right.
is, being a fly girl, a fly boy, but also flying to your highest heights, soaring, being all that you can be, going after everything you've ever imagined, all those things that God has put in you in terms of who you are and what you bring to the universe. We all know what that is. It's in us. It's
Mhm.
in us and it talks to us, even with all of those negative things that people have tried to steal from us and take from us. It's in us. We all have that. We all know what we're supposed to be, what we're here to do. We really do. It's in there. It's in us. And then it's to create, the creator in all of us. The
Right.
creator who created all of us to be all that we are meant to be. And so my whole thing is I live that by my life. I live it. I'm an example of that, right? That you have to be fly and create your own destiny. You have
Mm.
to be fly and create your own lane. You have to be fly and create your own narrative. It's on you. And the minute and the moment you understand that there is nobody holding you back, there is no boogeyman around the corner coming to get you.
Right.
There's no conspiracy. It's just you and God.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
You just get grounded, get to your source, get back everything that was stolen from you, and do you. Put on blinders. Put them blinders on and do you. And you will arrive. You will be proud of yourself. And once you can get to being proud of yourself, you can actualize anything you put your mind to. I anyway. Don't get me started. Be
I
fly
want you
crazy.
started.
That's
I
yours.
want you started. I got you started.
Your
Let's
fault. You got me started. It's your fault.
It's the vibe show, Josie.
It's the
Come
vibe.
on.
Oh,
I'm
come on
you know,
now. Right
I'm
there.
I'm
Boom.
proud of you. Like I'm talking about, listen, let's just be clear here now. Going on to win several awards, being nominated for um I'm I'm just saying, like, and that ties in to what you just said. And I loved that you said that, because again, you're walking inspiration. Walking inspiration. um to be connected with you is nothing but inspiration. How could you not be inspired? Just like you just said, from a living color, how could you be a part of that and not grab inspiration from that to go on and
Absolutely.
create? Go on and create, like you said.
But remember, everything should be inspiration. Like
Mhm,
everything
mhm.
should be inspiration. And I really mean that. Like it's just perspective, I think. It's just perspective. Like, do you see the, glass half empty or do you see it half full? It's just like,
Mhm,
really changing your perspective and coming out from it being from a lack of perspective. See,
mhm,
I don't see things from a place of lack. I see it from a place of abundance because
mhm.
God says it's all ours.
Right.
This, oh, that's what God said.
Right. And we
Okay.
have to really believe that.
Yeah, and you have to believe that. So am I going to listen to, man who, we're all a hot mess, every single one of us, just all of us, some of us do a better job at, kind of putting it
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah.
But we're all just trying to figure it out here. And we
Right.
all got our stuff. But if you listen to man and you go down that path, then yeah, you're gonna be thrown off, you're gonna be shaken, you're gonna be bamboozled, you're gonna be tricked, you're gonna be, you're gonna feel like it can't be done. It's not. No, listen, I will accomplish everything I set my mind to. And the
Mhm.
day that I don't, guess what? I'll be in heaven. I'll be in a better place. That's it.
Ooh,
There's
that's
no
deep.
there's no in between for me.
That's
There's
deep.
no in between.
That's real. That's real.
It's real talk.
I love that. Does it feel empowering though? Stepping into the director producer seats though, does that feel empowering to you with giving you a little bit more sense of control when it comes down to creating content, working with people, creating content, giving the guidance? Does that feel empowering? Because like you're wearing multiple hats here.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that I am wearing multiple hats, but I'm not doing everything at the same time.
Okay.
Right? So you got to kind of be careful with that. Um, um, I mean, I think you can do maybe two things, at the same time and do them well,
Right.
right? But I'm not doing everything. So like, for example, I'm getting into more directing now, well, more film directing. I've done a lot of directing theater. But now I'm getting more into directing film and television. And I have to kind of fall back on some things. I'm not going to be able to do them all, right? But there are times when, I try to be led because I want to be happy. So, I'm led to do like that thing that's going to satisfy me as an artist. So that's when I go towards like whatever, and I put like 100% into it. So at this point, and I really believe this, that we should be growing. We should be growing all the time. So we shouldn't be just in one place. And I know that people make you think like you can only be one thing and you can only do one thing and whatever. But I don't believe in that. I believe that you can do anything you set your mind to. But then you have to be disciplined and organized and realistic about, if you want to be great, which is what I want to do. Any lane I step into, I want to be great. I want to master that thing.
Right.
And in order to work on that level, that level of mastery and being good at what you do, then you need to do it for a while, right? You need to do it for a while so you can be able to master the thing, and be able to experience it in its fullness. You can't like stretch yourself too thin. So right now I'm going into that direction. So I'm having to kind of fall back on some of the other things that I do. I'm a life coach to a lot of people. I'm an acting coach. That's what I mainly do, 24 hours a day, and I love it. And then I do just, I do like other things. I'll take on a project, produce it, direct it. And so I'm doing less of that stuff so that I can really focus on this next thing, which is a natural progression. Like I think you should be naturally progressing, right? So I've danced, I've acted, I've I coach. And so it's a natural progression for me to get into directing.
And it feels good. It feels good to you. The space that you're
feels like
progressing.
a natural progression.
Now see, I learned something. I like that natural progression. It's not forced.
No,
because when it's forced, the stress start kicking in because you're overwhelmed. You're all over the place trying to do all these projects. I like that, Joseph. I like
absolutely. I think that it has to be a natural progression. Grow. Well, Yeah, I mean, growth that's growth that you're
Hmm.
growing. It's a natural thing that's happening. It's a natural phenomenon, right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's not kind of rocket scientists, and not that you couldn't start a whole new career. I mean, I know plenty of people who do that, and they go, you know, they take, thank you, Vibe Show Casper. I I totally believe that, that people can decide, okay, I want to start new. I want to start brand new. I want to do something I've never thought of doing ever before.
Hmm.
That's absolutely right and fine. But that's being inspired.
Right.
That's inspiration that's talking to you. You saw something and you were inspired to say, that's really cool. I want to try that. How do I
Hmm.
try that? And then you go for it, and you really go for it. You do the homework, you do the research, and you're inspired to do it. And that's a natural progression too,
Right.
right? Because it's organic. And so you just need that inspiration. You just have to have inspiration, and then you go for it, and you really go for it, as opposed to being a master of none,
Right.
right? You know
Right.
a lot of things, but you've never really mastered any of them. But really, I'm not mad at that person either, because at least they're trying
Yeah. Nothing beats a failure but a try. You right about that.
all day. I say that all day. Nothing beats a failure but a try. Hey.
COVID though.
Mhm.
I want to ask you about COVID as we're getting ready to close out.
Mhm.
Um, talk to
I'm
me
hungry.
about
Hungry.
how talk to me about ways that it may have impacted you from because I think that it impacted us all
Mhm.
from a mental
Yeah,
standpoint.
absolutely.
Seeing so many people lose their lives at a massive aggression, and then us having to make changes in our lives and stuff like that with the way, the normacy of how, we, because in our business, it's more physical than, this what we're doing now. It's more physical engagement and all of this, what we like being around people and stuff like that, and then that's taking away, and we got to make adjustments. I just want to know, like, some of the adjustments that you may had to make in your business.
Well, for me, it was crazy, in a good way, crazy, because prior to, so we're talking about my business very specifically. So I own two academies. One is for kids, and that one's called Kids Way Acting Academy.
Hmm.
And then I've got Respect for Acting Academy. That's my adults. And if you go back 2 years before COVID hit, you will see that I was already positioning myself to be a premier online acting coach. So I
Mm.
was already 2 years ahead of it.
Right.
Okay. And that's, again, nothing but God. But I saw how I wanted to kind of do my thing. I knew that I wanted to be able to go anywhere I wanted, and I wanted to expand my borders in
Mm.
terms of working with actors that were even in other countries. Okay? And so that was my vision. God gave me the vision. And so I was already, putting it out there to all of my, actors, my clients. I don't like to call them clients, but just so that you can better understand. Um, and so I was already doing that. Already I was, coming on social media, and I would start off saying, hey, it's your online acting coach, Jossie. I really didn't have a lot of online clients. I was just,
Hmm.
I was marketing myself as that.
Right.
And so and that's a word there for somebody right there, what I just said. Okay. And I'm always trying to help somebody.
That's
Um,
right.
and and um, and so when COVID hit, I literally lost only one client, really, and that client was because he was young. He's a genius.
Hmm.
He was 5 years old, and the mother really felt like he wasn't going to do good
Right.
online. But I must have gained. I don't know, 200 new clients.
Wow.
Because everything went online.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was already set up. I was already ready. And so business really took off for me, really took off. It was a blessing, even though a lot happened and we've lost a lot of people. So I'm always so careful, when I talk about it. But it's been really, COVID has, in terms of business for me, has been tremendous in where I am now today with the business.
Right. And for anybody that may want to inquire about, the workshops that you offer as well, can we put that information out there and your social media platforms and any other way that people can actually get connected with you?
Absolutely. They can reach me by going to respectforactingacademy.com. And that's all spelled out. Respect for FOR actingacademy.com, respectforactingacademy.com. They can just go there. They'll be led to the kids acting academy as well. It's sort of a one-stop shop. So all they have to do is go to respectforactingacademy.com. Yeah. And, if they wanted to hire me to come and speak, at their school or at their community, whatever, I'm available. You just would reach me at info at Respect for Acting Academy, just info at Respect for Acting Academy. And I do have a book. So anybody, I am an author.
I was going to ask you about that.
I'm so proud of myself. Okay,
yes.
I don't know here it is.
Right there. Yep.
It's I'm really, really proud of this just because I've always wanted to be an author, just because it sounds so cool. That's the only reason. And so I am an author in that I have students, and for years I've been telling them, make sure that you get a journal and a notebook to write down these wonderful notes I'm giving you. And I would always have them go get a book to write their notes, or to go buy a journal. And suddenly the light turned on and I was like, duh, do your own journal. Right. And so my method that I teach is called the dropped in method. And so I got that coined, and I got all of my friends in the business. It's a very special notebook journal to me, because these are all personal quotes that all of these wonderful, amazing casting directors, agents, managers, actors, literally all sent me these quotes.
Oh, wow.
So these are not quotes that I got off the internet. No, these were quotes that were sent to me personally by these amazing, incredible people to make this incredible, amazing, one-of-a-kind journal notebook. So you can get that. I have a couple left with me here if you want to get it direct. And that's through just josie.com.
Right.
Or you can find it on amazon.com, and it's literally hashtag dropped in notebook journal.
Wow. In closing,
I need that clap everywhere I go. Like, I need to just have it just makes you feel, I don't know.
Yes.
It makes you feel fly. It makes you feel, I don't know.
In closing, a lot has went on, and a lot of people are depressed. A lot of people lost jobs, lost loved ones. A lot been going on or whatever. Any words of uplift and encouragement that you could leave for anybody that's listening right now that may be in a dark place in their life?
Oh my. That's a big. Yeah, this is a very spiritual time. Oh my God, you put me on blast. you expanded the screen. This is a very spiritual time. And I would say what I was talking about earlier, which is, and this is really what I want to say, that you have to trust in God and not man. You know, I think that a lot of the mental health issues come because you know, people, we, and I include myself in there, that, you know, we're all trying to take on so much, and we're really trying to do it on our own, and we can't do it on our own. Like, we need direction, we need spiritual direction, we need that spiritual food, we need that manna, you know, to bite on, to chew on. And I think that, you know, there are people that are really suffering, and they're falling into this really dark space, but um it looks like it's dark, and it looks like it's hopeless, but it's really not. It's like you just have to kind of slash through that curtain. You know, it's actually very thin, like somebody once said to me. Like, you just gotta, you think that it's hopeless, you think that it's dark, you think that there's no hope, but there is hope, you know, and you gotta slash through that curtain. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's making you feel and think things that are really not real, because God says it's all ours. Everything is out there, it's ours. And you just have to, you know, really go back to that place. I highly, highly suggest therapy. Therapy is so important. I have a therapist. Actually, I don't have one right now, but I am looking for one. I really believe in therapy. I know that in some, and especially in our communities, that's kind of looked down upon for some people. But
Right.
God, you know, God put therapists, just like He designed and created doctors. You know, like they're here for a reason. They're here to serve. And so I truly believe that, you know, get a therapist, get somebody, get a professional to help and to talk to, somebody that you can depend on. If you can't for whatever reason, then don't be that strong sister that, you know, you're there for everybody else, but you ain't nobody there for you. No, you know, go to those who love you and tell them, you know, really, you know, open up and let them know what you're feeling, what you're thinking. You are not alone. You know, that is like the main scheme of the enemy, of the darkness, of making
Mhm.
you feel like you're alone, but nobody's alone. Nobody's alone, because even if you didn't have anybody to love you and care about you, and you felt like you didn't have any family, you out there by yourself, but there are people, there are counselors, there, you know, there are people that you can go to, places that you can go to. I wish I had the number to even give right now.
Right.
If I can give that to you, and you can put it, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
there are places and there are people that you can go, and there are people that care. And nobody is alone, but it is a very stressful time. And I think people are walking around and they're not understanding how stressed they really are.
Right. Right.
Right, because you could have so much and you don't even realize, like, you're close to having a freaking heart attack, stressed. You
Exactly.
know, that's how stressed you are, and you don't even know it. So I think more than ever, I have my girl, Shanti Das. She has a company called Silence the Shame, and she helps people talk about this. You know, talk about it more. You know, where you're
Mhm.
really talking about, you know, if you're depressed or you're down or you're feeling alone or you're feeling scared or you're feeling like nobody loves you, nobody cares. There
Right.
are people that love you, and there are people that care. There really are. That's why for me, you know, my actors can tell you, you know, what I provide for my actors is so much more than just an acting class. I am taking care of the whole person, because
Mm.
before you can be anything that you dream of, you've got to be spiritually grounded. You have to be,
Right.
because otherwise you won't get there, because everything that glitters isn't gold, and
Right.
all money ain't from God. Do you
That's
see
right.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
All money ain't good money,
That's right.
you know. And if you're not planted, you know, you can find yourself in dark spaces and entertaining stuff that isn't even you or of you. So keeping yourself listening to some really great music, like, music is my God. You know, music is my DJ, like for real, for real. So listening to music has helped me. I've gone through some moments. This is really one of the toughest times in my life, really, just real talk, you know. And so I've gotten on my face, you know, reading my word, praying, making sure that I'm listening to the right music, listening, making sure that I keep my circle small and
Right.
tight, you know. So
Right.
I'm not like letting just like anybody talk into my spirit. And you know, you can have people who pretend like they're with you, but they're really not.
That's
And
right.
they're coming in to just cause confusion and, you know, and make
Right.
things muddy. So making sure that you know, my mom used to always say, if you have one good friend, you're blessed,
Right.
right? So you don't need, we're not in high school, we're not in college anymore. You don't need a whole bunch of people and to be going out all the time and partying. Like, no, you know, quality of life, you know,
Right.
quality of life. So simpling, you know, keeping your life simple, being around people who you really love, who trust, who get you, who see you, who love you, you know, and stop paying attention to the ones who don't, you
Right.
know, who are sowing all kind of terrible stuff into you. Like, forget that. That's not, we grown now,
Right.
you know, and you want to live your best life and you don't want to live it depressed and down and in fear and all that other stuff. So that's my advice, is to tighten that circle, you know, listen to some good music, um, you know, get into your word, you know, really, you know, focus into, you know, whoever, you know, whatever your source is, praying, meditating, walking, doing a lot of walking and just being outside and in nature, you know, connecting to the trees, to the sun, to the weather, the snow for some people. Uh,
Mhm.
um, you know, but connecting, being grounded, you know, taking walks, you know, reading good stuff that motivates you. My actors know, Tremont is up in here. My actors know we start off class with doing affirmations,
Mhm.
because we have to, especially speaking very specifically to artists, we have to make sure, it is so important that you're pouring back into yourself. So I make sure that they're remembering to say something kind to yourself about
Mm.
yourself.
Wow.
Like,
Oh,
we got to do that. We got to be able to remind ourselves, not from this ego place,
right.
right? But from a grounded place, like remind yourself, no, I am beautiful. I am kind. I am, you know, whatever it is that you have to remind yourself and speak into you. You have to learn to be your best friend now more than ever.
Mhm.
Now
Mm.
more than ever. Like, stop searching for it out there. Stop looking for that validation out there. No, it's right here. And it's
Mhm.
and it's the God in you. Okay, because
Mm.
he makes us in his image, right?
Right.
His and her image. His and
Right.
her image. Okay, because we're a little bit of both of those things. So
Mhm.
it's God in us in that image, and that, and we've got to go, we've got to get back to that. You
Wow.
know, my 2 cents.
Whew. I wanna tell you this as we close out. I just want to tell you that this really really meant a lot to me, and
Mm,
I think that you're such an amazing spirit, and I just want to
mm,
tell you that I love you. Thank
mm.
you
I
so
love
so
you
much
too. I love
for,
you
for
too.
being you, for remaining you. Thank you so
Mm,
much. And for me and the team, I just want to, we want to wish you more blessings and more success with everything that you're doing right now and everything that you're going to be doing in the future.
mm.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you. Likewise. Back at y'all. And back to y'all, the team. Y'all making it happen back there. I know.
Absolutely.
So honestly, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Literally right back at you. You know, we just have to remember to trust God, not man. You know,
Right.
trust God. He's the source. That's the source. And you go back to your source and you'll be fine.
Right. We can't wait to get you back on here. It's the Vibe Show 97.9 with my special guest, the one and only Jossie Harris. Thacker, man, I want to thank, subscribe to the Vibe Show 97.9. Shame on you. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications for more exclusive interviews coming up. Jossie, I will definitely reach out to you and in the DM and get connected.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It's the Vibe Show. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. Y'all be safe. More love, less hate. Makes the world a better place. I'm Kano the Don. We out of here, me and Jossie.